Oh, what's up, man? Nothing, just looking into some shit. Yep. I got all this true crime stuff.
Never used a machete before, as you can tell.
Kind of piqued my interest.
Oh,
Figured I'd look into some stuff about a friend of mine that went missing a couple of years ago.
checking, mic check. How you guys doing? Welcome. Thanks for coming. Sunday afternoon, Sunday, almost evening, depending on where you're at. Annalise, Katrina, hey,
Yeah, I'm still playing it. I actually just got off.
Xavier. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting like, please, too.
What?
That really actually helps the algorithm.
Just turn the hall light on, son.
Hopefully, notifications go up.
The most common makeup.
Making sure we're green light, everything's running all right. Facebook, YouTube. How's the connection? How's the
I
sound?
don't care about your live stream shit, dude. Just get to the point.
Welcome. How you guys doing? Thanks for stopping by. I want to do this story. Echo Lloyd, Leave It to Beaver brought my attention to it. She's been missing.
Yeah, they're doing good. Lincoln,
May
get
10th,
in bed.
2020.
What are you doing?
It was Mother's Day.
Get you a water and get in
Her
bed.
daughter has been speaking on or representing, kind of speaking on her behalf, advocating for the mother, for her mother. A couple of things real quick. So
How are you
there's
doing,
a
man?
GoFundMe that they set up. So I mean that's been set up since let me see here for a while now. It's been since November 30th, 2020. Okay. I put the link in the description. There's also a Facebook page that you can check out, Bring Echo Home, which is the daughter directly speaking to people. And so we're gonna
Yeah,
once I
you too,
present the
man.
story to you, we're gonna watch some of her
I might be
clips.
back on later. I just want
I
to take a look
downloaded it
at
and I
this
fixed the
stuff for a
audio a
little
little
bit.
bit because it was kind of low. Um, and there's also a website, Bring Echo Home. So if you ever want to go check yourself for updates, or if you want to watch directly, which we're gonna watch these three together, you can do that. Other thing, I posted this story earlier today. So if you haven't checked it out after this, check out this story, Michael Vaughn, a missing boy, and also this story, Darius Swain, the local story. Body found, uh, no foul play suspected, but a family member commented. I think it was a family member commented earlier today and said that they believe that it's more than that. There's more to the story. So just a little heads up. Now, let me play. I have some news clips before I read this article. This was the best article that I saw because I started taking notes at first. I was going down, taking clips from different articles, and I was like, found this one. I was like, oh, this is really well put together. We could just do this in a stream. We can kind of kick back and watch some of the things. And I also thought, who better to tell a story than Echo's daughter herself, right? I could sit here and tell you all day, but the daughter actually spoke on it. So her daughter's name is Kelsey, and there's another person that's been speaking to the media and stuff too. Mary, she's Echo's cousin. And so let me pull up the news clip. Take a look at that to give a kind of brief summary before I go down all the details. This one here.
A new plea for help tonight from the family of a missing woman. This woman here.
Echo was 47. I don't know when her birthday is and stuff like that, but 47.
Vanished without a trace from Benton County about a year ago now. Marina Silva joins us from Warsaw with the family's new plea for help.
it's been 422 days since anyone has heard from Echo Lloyd. Her daughter tried to contact her on Mother's Day of last year and never got an answer. Vigils are pretty much regularly held here in Warsaw, and the family is still asking for the public's help in bringing Echo home.
She was an absolutely gorgeous person inside and out. She was
This is Mary, Echo's cousin that I just told you.
fun and bubbly and charismatic, and I'm not sure if she ever met anyone who didn't like her.
Mary Dubray is Echo Lloyd's cousin. She's been one of the people leading the efforts to find any answers as to what happened to Echo.
I can't imagine.
And this story is pretty weird. Give it a little bit of time to build up, but it's weird. She's literally gone, but like without a trace. It's kind of super bizarre.
That we're gonna find her alive. I pray for that. I don't think that's reality at this point in time. But she deserves to have her life celebrated.
Echo went missing from her home in Benton County in May of 2020.
Her daughter was in constant communication with her, and I know there were other people that she talked to on a regular basis. And her daughter had tried to go see her on Mother's Day, taken her a gift, left it on the porch because she wasn't home.
The daughter contacted police later after going over to the house and finding her mom's personal items had been left behind.
Her purse was there. Her wallet was there. Her cigarettes were there. And
I was wondering about that, Eddie, if she had a boyfriend or something like that. I don't know. I know that we're gonna get into in a second, but Kelsey, I believe, mentions a stepfather, but that they ended up their relationship amicably, mother and stepfather. So, but I wonder too. I don't know. She was dating. I haven't watched the full video. I haven't really watched any of it. We're gonna watch the daughter speak in a second, but she posted this video like 6 weeks ago.
The only thing missing was her car keys.
Benton County Sheriff Eric Knox says investigators are always following up on new leads and still looking for answers.
I want the public, somebody out there knows what happened to Echo. And I don't believe it's just one person. I don't think that there's just one person that would have this knowledge.
According to Sheriff Knox, investigators have put in thousands of hours trying to find her.
All of our local people, still think about Echo, and the signs are still up, and all of our local folks, have their eyes peeled.
Her family thinks someone who knows her has something to do with her disappearance. The sheriff says someone has to know something.
And I don't believe it's just one person. I don't think that there's just one person that would have this knowledge.
The family holds on to hope, searching for answers, waiting to hear from Echo.
Lisa says that she was ending a relationship when she went missing. The daughter was in profiling Eva a while back. Oh, I didn't know that. The daughter was on Leave It to Beaver's channel too. I didn't know that either until now. Beaver probably told me, but I guess I didn't listen. Before we get into these details, I'm gonna play this clip too. This was
this isn't just a face on a flyer. This is a real person, and we love her, and we want her home. We want her home.
A desperate plea from a Missouri family to help find their missing cousin. Echo Lloyd was last seen 2 months ago today in Climax Springs. Andrew Avranik spoke to her cousin in Bates County and joins us live with more on this call for help. Andrew?
Lisa, Echo Lloyd was last seen on Mother's Day. That was May 10th. She was last seen at a Dollar General in Climax Springs. Her daughter, her brother, and her cousins haven't heard from or seen her since. They think someone out there knows what happened to her.
It's been a hard 2 months for Mary Dubray and her family.
It's been devastating.
Dubray's cousin, Echo Lloyd, has been missing since Mother's Day. She was last seen at the Dollar General in Climax Springs.
That is the last time we believe she was seen or heard from.
Lloyd hasn't used her cell phone, credit cards, or filled prescriptions since her disappearance.
She's on several medications that she does not have with her, nor does she have her billfold or her car. She is absolutely missing without a trace.
The Benton County Sheriff's Office is investigating. They are getting help from the Missouri State Highway Patrol and the FBI.
We don't feel that she, decided to leave her life or is gone of her own free will. We feel, as the family, we feel like there is definitely foul play involved.
Dubray, her sister, and Lloyd's daughter, Kelsey Smith, have set up a Facebook page to try and spread the word about Lloyd in hopes someone knows something.
We want to get her face in front of as many people as we can so that someone can recognize her and say, oh, I know what happened. I'm going to help these people find their loved one.
Dubray said her family isn't giving up hope, even though there are moments when doubt starts to set in.
When you lose someone that you love and you know how and why, it's devastating. But when you lose someone that you love and you don't know why, and you don't know where they are, and you don't know what happened, it's a wound that won't heal. And it's really, really hard to move past that.
So let me get to this article, which I thought had great details. And then once we get through this article, it's quite a bit of reading, but this was like the most detailed thing. And I thought it would be good to go through this because it goes through the timeline and details. And after I read this article, then we're going to watch Echo's daughter. She posted a video like 6 weeks ago, so like 3 videos together. So we're going to see her tell her account of things and what she's been going through. And so this here, Kelsey told Dateline that she last spoke to her mother on the evening of May 9th, 2020, the day before Mother's Day. The next day, she drove to her house in Edwards, Missouri to deliver a Mother's Day card and flowers, but her mother didn't appear to be home. Her car wasn't in the driveway and the door was locked, Kelsey explained. So I left the card and flowers on the porch and wrote her a note telling her to call me. But Kelsey never received a call from her mother. On Monday, Kelsey tried calling her mother on both her cell and house phones and continued calling every morning, every day that week. But the calls went straight to voicemail. It was just odd, Kelsey said. When the house phone went to voicemail, I knew something wasn't right. On Friday, May 15th, and here's one of the kickers. May 15th, Kelsey drove back to her mother's house, but this time, her mother's locked car was in the driveway. So that's weird, right? When she first went, I guess the car wasn't there. Now she comes back, the car's there. I started banging on the front door and the back. I was banging on the whole house, hoping she was inside. She'd hear me, Kelsey said, but no one was there. Kelsey said she also checked her mother's she shed, kind of weird one to say back to back, where Echo could often be found working on various projects. She had been renovating the house, Kelsey explained. She's an artist and would get really creative with whatever home project she was working on. She was redoing the living room at the time. She really wanted to make her place her own and prove that she could do it on her own. Kelsey told Dateline her mother and stepfather had amicably separated a couple of years ago and that Echo had moved into the house that was on 10 acres of land near a lake. She loved the lake life, Kelsey said. So it was the perfect place for her new life. It was a fresh start, and I know she was happy there. After searching the property, Kelsey went to the neighbor's house for answers, but she told, sorry, but said he told her that he hadn't seen Echo. Now even more worried about her mother, Kelsey broke one of the windows to the house with a rock and climbed inside. I could tell someone else had been there. Someone, but not my mother, Kelsey said. It wasn't ransacked, but there was a pile of trash and food with mold. That's not like my mother at all. She's OCD. She wouldn't have left the house like this. In Echo's room, Kelsey found her mother's cigarettes and lighter on the nightstand. Below, her mother's purse, her wallet, ID, and some cash still inside. What I couldn't find was my mother's cell phone, her medications, her pistol, and her car keys, Kelsey told Dateline. Called the police right away and then went in. Sorry, I called the police right away and then I went outside to wait and started calling out, Mommy Echo. I was just willing to hear her. I was just willing to hear her. Sorry, I was just willing her to appear that moment. My fault. Kelsey said that she and her family fear foul play is involved in Echo's disappearance and have no reason to believe that she would walk away from her family, especially with no form of identification or money. She just wouldn't walk away from her family, Kelsey said tearfully. My son is just 1 month old when she disappeared. She loves her grandbaby. She'd never leave us. She'd never leave her grandbaby. Echo's disappearance was initially investigated by the Benton County Sheriff's Office. Benton County Sheriff Eric Knox told NBC in July that based on what they found, it did not seem as though Echo has the resources to be on her own. He added that there had been no activity on her cell phone or bank account. She had not refilled any of the medications that she takes regularly. She's on several medications that she does not have with her, nor does she have her billfold or her card. She's absolutely missing without a trace. Searches were conducted, but without a specific area to pinpoint. The search has stalled over the months. Kelsey told Dateline that there were sightings of her mother on the day she went missing, possibly at the Dollar General, but said there are discrepancies to the location at which she was last seen. Kelsey said she believes her mother had returned home after she left the flowers on the porch because her mother's car was in the driveway, and Kelsey found a Walmart receipt in the house dated May 10th with her mother's signature. She added that all the evidence has been turned over to the authorities. I wonder May 10th, but what time? What time was on the receipt? The investigation has been since handed over to the Missouri State Highway Patrol Missing Persons Clearinghouse, which has posted Echo's information on its website. Evelyn, thank you so much for the stars. Appreciate that. Hit the like button and share. Please, guys, yeah, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like, helping the video get out a little bit. I know this is not a popular one. So as I mentioned earlier too, she has a Facebook page, she has the website. There's I don't know what the reward is now. At this point, when this article came out, it said $7,000. There's a GoFundMe. Um, Echo is 5'4" tall, 5 inches, 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighs 100 between 100 and 110 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, and she has a letter, which is that I put in the thumbnail. With birds on her forearm, she also has names of her 4 children: Kelsey, Casey, Caitlin, and Kyle, tattooed on her wrist. All right. So that was kind of a mouthful, but I thought it was really detailed. I thought it was one of the best articles that I read. Some people in the chat said that supposedly the mother might have been kind of hooking up with a boyfriend at the time or something before she went missing. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked it up myself. Somebody said that she was on Profiling People. Somebody else said that she was. Well, I know that she was on Leave It to Beaver. And what we're gonna do now is let's just hear directly from Kelsey. So this is about 30 minutes. So I'm not really gonna talk. I'm just gonna let it ride because it's a lot to watch. So we can kind of like push through.
Okay. I am really nervous. It has been 11 months since my mom, Echo Michelle Lloyd, has went missing. She went missing the week of Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020. She is 5'4", about 100 to 110 pounds. She was 47 when she went missing. Brown hair, brown eyes, beautiful smile. I apologize for the noise outside the car. I wanted to do this before an appointment today and while I had the time. I have been scared for many reasons.
And this was posted 6 weeks ago, just FYI. This is a more recent video on the Facebook page.
Not to do this. But I have to stop letting fear. I have to stop letting fear get in the way and do what I think is right. Because bringing my mom home is the most important thing, no matter what. I can't let fear of upsetting anybody get in the way, or the fear of the police not helping us even more than they already are. sorry, I'm shaking so bad. Okay. So I wanted to make sure we back law enforcement because it's their job and their duty to help me bring mom home and bring justice for my family. And I'll always stand behind Blue. 100%. And you don't really know what's going on in the beginning, and the more time that goes on, the more you see, the more you know, and the more you understand.
Guys, this is on her Facebook page. I just downloaded it and I fixed the audio, but I'll put the link to this after. I'm not gonna interrupt much either. We just got to play the video and get through it. But I said it earlier. Bring Echo home. These videos are on the page. You guys can go follow that as well.
Understand? So I wrote a list of reasons why we need to start asking the police what's going on and what's happening in Benton County, Missouri. So from day one, I was told I wasn't allowed to go to the police or go to the media, whether that was radio, Facebook, or radio, Facebook, news outlets, anything. They asked us not to do that and not to ask for help finding her because they didn't want to scare anybody away. And I waited 2 days and I just didn't feel like it was right that I wasn't asking for help. And so I did it anyways, and some family got upset that I posted her on Facebook. And it's understandable because law enforcement had asked us not
family.
to, and I went behind what they had asked us to do and did it anyways. And I had some people upset with me, and I understand that. So when they got there, I mean, from the get-go, you know, I knew something was really wrong, and I knew who they needed to go question, and I've been scared to say.
Oh, really?
That I could get in trouble for slander. But my mom came to me 2 weeks before she disappeared, and she told me all kinds of stuff for hours, and then she left, and it really messed me up. I didn't talk to anybody about it for about 5 days because I just couldn't comprehend what was happening, and she was calling me and checking in. And so I told him, you need to go question this person right now. You need to go down there right now. They know that I called you, and they've got her somewhere. They've done something to her, and they told me to calm down. You don't know that that's what happened. You don't know that that's what happened. Start from the beginning and tell me from the beginning. And so I did. And there was so much at that point, so many times I had to go to her house, or her and I had discussions. I had to sit this person down and tell them, you have no boundaries. She's so hard, she doesn't do confrontation well. And so she called me and said, please come over. And I did. And to have to sit them down and tell someone you have no boundaries, there should be no reason. Okay, I'm really sorry.
When you see these cuts, I put the videos together. She was having issues. I think her phone was overheating. I don't know if anybody's ever had that. Your phone overheats, it'll like shut down or whatever. So that's the little cut.
My phone got too hot. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. So, all right, where I left off was they told me to calm down and repeat everything, and so I did. And when they got there, I mean, when I went to her home, and by the time I got in her house.
And guys, please there's like 76 people here, which is not a lot. Please hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. Help the algorithm get it out.
I did touch things, but I mean, immediately what was going through my head was don't touch anything, don't touch anything, don't touch anything, you know, barely touch things. And they weren't wearing gloves. And so anyways, one of the deputies had pulled me to the side, and I wrote everything down in absolute detail and kept telling them they needed to go question them. So they walked around or whatever. I didn't know that, like, on a podcast I had mentioned her pistol, and I didn't know that I wasn't. I didn't mean to let anything out. I got a call
she wasn't
from
supposed to say that, I guess.
Knox, about that, and told me
her case by talking about it,
Oh man,
about any of it.
feel bad for her, man.
And I was gonna mess things
What's going
up,
on?
which doesn't make sense because before that I was told he'd probably have to do it again, in order to get caught.
Jesus.
So anyways, we walked around or whatever, and it was about 5 hours, 6 hours that I was there. And when I was able to leave, that's when deputies were down questioning the neighbors. And the specific neighbor I talked about was not there. And I thought, well, that's funny. And come to find out, it took the police knocking on their door for them to come to the door, and they've like, we've been out here knocking, trying to talk to you. What have you been doing? And they were taking a nap. Now, you're my mom's only friend who forced her to go places. I want everybody to be reminded of that. My mom told me she felt like something was a community effort. It was a community effort not to let her car be fixed in time. And I don't care if I sound crazy. I don't care anymore. Like, this shit has to, I'm so sorry, this stuff has to get out. I've been holding a lot in. So when we did the foot search, I kept saying we need dogs or whatever. And that was going to be scheduled for Saturday. Came out and did the initial investigation starting that on Friday. And so Saturday we did a foot search with about 25 people or so. We only searched about 3 to 4 miles behind her home and like a U-turn and back to her property. That's it. There is Forbes land that is over 12,400 acres that starts to butt up to her property. So all we did was search this small area. Sorry. And then he went, Sheriff Knox said, we're going to call off the dogs. They rescheduled them for Sunday. We're going to call off the dogs. We don't believe that she's injured. So why would you do that? Because her purse was there, her ID was there, her car was there. I mean, and then forensics didn't come for about 2 weeks to her property, so it was a sitting duck. They told me basically that, I shouldn't have my hopes up and she's probably just gone. I was told at one point, I called after 2 months, I called the sheriff's department back and said, listen, can I go to media yet? Can I go to news outlets? I was told by a specific deputy, I'll have to ask, my sergeant, but I'll call you back. Sorry, the tornado sirens are going off right now. My phone's getting hot again, so hopefully it doesn't shut off. They'd have to ask their sergeant and get back to me, and they called me back and said, no, you still do not need to go to the media. And I asked why, and they said, we cannot, tell you what to do. That's what this specific person said. I cannot tell you what to do. Hold on a minute, guys. I know that's so loud. I cannot tell you what to do, whether to go or not to go to the media, but they do not want false leads to be brought in, and they do not want to scare off the possible, who possibly did this. Okay, but how are you going to get leads to come in if we don't get the word out? On another note, when it comes to a missing person, even if it's no foul play suspected, there aren't many of them that I have seen where they're not releasing where they were last publicly seen, who they were last publicly seen with, what the vehicle they were in, what they were wearing. I have not been given this information. I have not been given anything at all whatsoever. I have been begging, I have been pleading. It's been a little over a week or so the last time that I spoke with the lead detective, and I was highly upset. And I said, it's time for me to bring the truth to the light because there's so much more going on in Benton County. But right now my focus is my mom. So it took time for them to think that she might possibly be in danger. They just kept saying she just disappeared, and we're like, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. That didn't matter. And they knew she was without her medication. So why wasn't she an endangered missing person? And I was also told that that would not change how they are doing their investigation if she was endangered, which she should have been. She was without medications that she needed. And let's see, man. So they won't give any information. The Dollar General, that in the beginning, because there's so many leads that haven't been followed up on, multiple people who have come to us with information, and we make sure to pass that on immediately. And then come to find out, they'll contact us again later and say, hey, they didn't touch base with us. They haven't done an interview. I have been told by the lead detective that they have done about 60 interviews. Okay, so when it comes to Suzanne Morphew's case, okay, and I know it's a different case, but over the span of a year, they did over 400 interviews, even across state lines. I have no air in my car right now, so sorry. I look like a hot, sweaty mess, and I know it. Okay, I apologize. I had an appointment. I wanted to try to get this in before my appointment. Wasn't able to, and then my phone kept overheating and shutting my live off. So I apologize for that. Welcome to my world. Things like that happen all the time. So I'm really sorry. Third time is hopefully, fingers crossed, a charm. All right, so I don't know if I left off about where the dogs were. And 2 months in, when I asked about going to the media, that's when I started calling. I called the FBI. I called Kansas City. I called Springfield. I called Missouri State Highway Patrol. I called the governor's office, the senator. I called the attorney general, and I was told by the attorney general's office, sorry, we don't deal with anything like that, which at the time, I didn't know anything. Still kind of don't, if I'm honest, about the attorney general. So I felt stupid because, I mean, people had told me to go speak, talk to the attorney general, and people still do, and they find that odd that I was told that they don't deal with this kind of thing. Because I needed help. I wanted help. I knew something was really wrong. Like, why are we being told to be quiet about this? If you're guessing that she's just gone and it's going to have to happen again in order for them to be caught, why am I being quiet about trying to find her? It doesn't make any sense. And, we were all saying that she didn't disappear on her own. She wouldn't leave her kids. She wouldn't leave her grandkids, which is true. My mom, before, if my mom needed a weekend away, she had 4 freaking kids. So she would let her husband know where she was going and she would take a weekend away. That is a normal thing to do if you need that time for you. But she always told somebody where she was going. So her not telling anybody, her home phone, starting to go straight to voicemail is really odd. And that started the day after Mother's Day. It started going straight to voicemail. And when I text her second phone, because she has 2 phones, okay? She has a T-Mobile phone, that's an iPhone, and then she had a Verizon phone, which was a prepaid phone, because in Edwards down there, you have really bad cellular service. And T-Mobile isn't the best in that area. It's pretty bad. But Verizon, if you go to certain spots, you could get at her property service. This person had taken over that phone. This person had told her, I have photos of your brand new grandson, because I kept sending my mom pictures and wondering why aren't you trying to interact with my baby? Like, why aren't you trying to interact with me? That's your grandbaby. She wasn't allowed to be at the hospital, and we knew that. And when she showed up to my house, she said, I knew, and I was told, I've got the pictures of your baby, but I'm not going to show them to your grandbaby. And if you don't understand manipulation, if you don't understand vulnerability, and being in a vulnerable place, because my mom was a vulnerable person. My mom was naive to people. My mom just, love was the answer to everything, and she wanted to be friends with everybody, and she wanted to help everybody, even when she needed help herself. She just continued to give, even when her cup was empty. And if you don't understand manipulation and people who are good at finding victims, you won't understand where her head was. And at the same time, when she came to my house, I don't know. I think she was doing it to protect me. My mom is hard-headed. I think she had the idea that she was, this is it. This is the time I'm going to put my foot down. Because like I said, my mom's non-confrontational. I don't know. I try not to hold guilt, because I just feel like I wish, I don't know what I wish
I would have done, like physically picked her up and like put her in my son's room, lock the door, like you aren't leaving, stay in the tower. You know, you can't do that. I wanted to, but I didn't. I let her go. I really regret that now. And so on that note, two cell phones, what is going on with the phones and the information on the phones? What's going on with that? There's got to be something. It has been a year. I've been told, you know, it's got to be passed up the ladder to get the pings, to get information. Okay, that's fine. Has anything come of that? You know, I didn't start. There are things, of course, that I cannot speak on, and I know that. But with the phone things, information with the phones, where is that? What's going on with that? What's happening there? Well, Kelsey, what do you want us to look into? I don't know everything. You're the police. I'm not understanding why you're coming to me and like, well, what do you want us to do? I want you to do your job. That's what I want you to do. I want you to find some answers. We've come to this day and there are more questions than answers. The person that I believe in my heart that did this to my mother, for a multitude of reasons, I have so much evidence, and of course, you know, it's his word against her word. I am not here for anything but the truth. And my mom, I have no reason to lie. He has every reason to lie about everything.
Damn.
So he had a grandfather that he lived with in Duroc Bay. That grandfather was sweet on my mom. He would bake her pies, she'd make him dinner, things like that. He'd call up there, he'd check on her at the house. 2 weeks after my mom disappears, his grandfather passes away. Not from old age, but from a fall. His back was broken in half. And it wasn't just in one day that he goes to the hospital and passes away. No, he was left on the floor for 3 days. 3 days. And then a family member called and said, you know, a neighbor, and said, listen, you've got to go check on him. I can't get him and see, you know, how he is. And they went in and he was on the floor. And he passed away on the 4th day. They did no autopsy. Nothing. Knowing my mom's case has been opened, okay? Knowing that I've been saying this person, like, look in this direction, like, what is going on here? Have you done searches at home? Have you done anything? I mean, crazy things. This person was doing really weird stuff at this property, booby trapping the house, doing different things like that. Why would you do that if you didn't have a guilty conscience? Doesn't make any sense. He did all kinds of things to that house after his grandfather passed away. But nothing was done with it. And by the time I kind of had somebody's ear, you know, he'd been cremated and couldn't be exhumed to do an autopsy because I really wanted to try to get his family justice.
As we think of the other case, Bill, kind of the cremation and all that.
Also, so the information with the Dollar General, especially because there is that conflict of Climax Springs and Edwards, or in Warsaw, I apologize. Climax Springs and Warsaw, okay? So the confirmation that we have is by speaking to the employees at the Dollar General in Warsaw personally, person to person. And we were told it was Warsaw, Missouri. We've been told that. The only thing I recently been told is my information is wrong, which makes no sense. I was told that to one person. Now my information is wrong. And the thing is if there's anything going on, if I felt like they were doing anything, I wouldn't be doing this. But I need justice for my mom. My mom needs justice. That is the whole reason I'm in a position. You are to be there to help uphold the law. Put people behind bars that deserve to be behind bars. You can't take another person's life into your own hands and make a decision to end it. That's what somebody did, and they're just letting them go. I can't do it. There's one person. Nobody. To know that everything needs to them, and yet somehow the cops don't have anything. And what blows my mind, evidence. What's going on with evidence? How is everything circumstantial? And what I also don't understand is Susie and Morphew's husband is behind bars Her body has not been found. I understand they've done a bunch of interviews and things like that, but then you don't have any physical freaking evidence in front of you, right? And that guy's behind bars. So what's happening with my mom's case?
Okay, that's kind of cool.
I have been told not to trust law enforcement on this case. I have been told that by other law enforcement.
Oh, damn.
And if anybody wants to call me a liar or anything, I have learned to save everything. So
Same
at this
here.
point, I trust nobody.
Same here.
I can't even trust the people that are supposed to help me because something is wrong. Something's going on. It just doesn't make sense. And then they'll tell people, Texas Equisearch, really wanted to come up. Well, you see, we don't have a place to start. How about her house? I don't know. That's a place to start. They have no answers for me. And I'll say, like, why did Benton County put Climax Springs, not Warsaw? Well, I'm told by one group, by Missouri State Highway Patrol, I'm sorry, we can't answer for Benton County. And I'm told by Benton County, we can't answer for the Sheriff's Department. Nobody can answer anybody's questions. They want me to just go to the other person. They don't work together as a team like they should and discuss everything. There are so many times that there's been information that I know has been told to them more than once. And then they'll be like, well, I didn't have that in my notes. What do you mean you didn't have it in your notes? And then what they want me to do is start from the beginning and go all over it again. And don't get me wrong, I will do it. But now I have a whole year's worth. My family, and close friends who are trying really hard to find mom have all of these different leads and information, and some of them are true. We don't know if they're true or not true because as far as I know, nothing's being done with a lot of it. A lot of it, I'm being told one thing, and then you find out later that it's not happening. There's been no press releases, which I don't understand. And then Sheriff Knox getting on the interview 2 months in and saying, you're right, we're going to need the help from our citizens to find this woman. Really? Because I've been in the hot seat with my family because I'm ready to scream it from the mountaintops and ask where she is and what's going on. I felt cornered when I went and finally sat down with Sheriff Knox. He made sure he had 2 other deputies sitting back in a corner quietly. This isn't to try to make you feel intimidated, but how are you not supposed to feel intimidated? And all I could do was sit there and shake my head at what he had to say. There's a lot going on in Benton County, and again, my point is to find my mother. There are murders that are being called suicides. People aren't lying about those.
Murders being
People
called suicide.
are getting away with a lot and not getting in trouble. And you wonder why. I lived in Edwards for a little while, and I can honestly say that that will not happen ever again. Driving to my house, of course, there are a lot of abandoned properties and things like that. Houses burned down out there. You can smell the dope cooking. Tell me how the Sheriff's Department doesn't notice that. You can see an abandoned house that's fallen in and dilapidated, and there's smoke rising from the chimney. There are places that I was told she was forced to go to, and right after she disappeared, I started questioning around. Come to find out that place was, it was true. It was Like everything I questioned about what she had told me 2 weeks before she disappeared was more confirmation than anything, and it's just the whole 2020 in hindsight really sucks. I don't know what I wish I would have done. I just wish I wouldn't have let her leave. It's time for us to start knocking on Benton County's door and Missouri State Highway Patrol's door and asking them what's really going on with this case. Why aren't you answering me? Why aren't you answering any of my questions or giving me legitimate answers or an actual answer other than I'm sorry, it's an open investigation, I can't tell you anything. That makes absolutely no sense to me. You guys keep saying there's no foul play suspected. So you're not going to tell me what she was seen on CCTV wearing, who she might have been with, what vehicle she was in? That's weird. That is weird. It is weird to tell me I can't ask for help. The sheriff's department was not happy that I was trying to get Texas Equisearch, FBI, everybody else. And at one point I was told, Missouri State Highway Patrol will get all the credit for this. So that's what you're worried about, credit? This has been a whole year building up, watching other things unfold in Benton County. I'll never go back. I've got, and I don't care anymore. If people want to think that I'm crazy, if you think I'm wrong for doing this, so be it. So be it. The truth needs to come to the light. And I don't know who's playing on what side in Benton County. I don't know who's dirty, who's not. I don't know why nothing is happening with her case, but there is definitely a reason nothing is happening with her case. And at this point, I want to know why. I am not going to be pushed around anymore. I am not going to be put on the back burner. I am not going to let her be forgotten. We cannot let her be forgotten. Please don't let my mom become a cold case. Please get everybody, news media outlets. She's been missing a year. Let's get national coverage. Get people to start asking these guys what's going on. If you knew you were not equipped in the beginning to look for my mom, why? Why did you wait until September to have Highway Patrol step in? Because I've been asking since July. I've been begging since July. I've been telling State Highway Patrol, actually the lead detective on this case, what do I need to do to be able to get you on? And then with Missouri State Highway Patrol, I said, what do I need to do to get the FBI involved? And at this point, I trust no one, and my head is spinning. I've been really worried about people being upset with me by telling the truth, my truth, whether it's yours or not. It's my truth, and I have the proof. I have the proof to back me. You learn to record everything and keep note of everything.
Facts.
So everyone, what I can ask of you today is to please start asking Highway Patrol and Benton County Sheriff's Department what's going on in Benton County and where is Echo Lloyd? Why haven't you searched certain areas that we know should have been searched right from the get-go? Anywhere else probably would have sent a search team out to search certain areas, especially of the water that's around her home. I try not to get too excited, but there it is. There's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Why someone is not behind bars right now, I do not know. I do not understand. I don't know what you're doing to earn your paycheck when it comes to you being on my mom's case. And I apologize if that comes off as rude, but I am done. I am angry. I am fed up. I am fed up. I need people to hear me more now than ever. I am scared. I am scared, especially now coming out.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know. It's only 1 minute left, and I'm gonna give some afterthoughts, and we'll probably follow up with this story. My goal today was just to help spread this out because Bieber told me about it. I want to interrupt too much. Who else is gonna tell this story better than her? and I don't know what that area is like. It seems like it's a small town. I don't know what's going on with it. So supposedly or allegedly, Echo, who lives, this is according to people.com, because I've seen 3 or 4 different locations, who lives in Fourth View area of Edward, was believed to have last been seen at the Dollar General in Climax Springs on May 10th. So, okay, whatever that means. I have no idea these areas. I was actually trying to look it up right now on Google Maps to kind of get some sort of visual, but I have no idea. But I wonder if it's like one of those small type of towns. And I would really be interested in looking into who's this person that she's referring to, like the actual name. Not going to do that right now, but maybe another time do some research and find out about this. I feel really, really bad for her. I couldn't imagine. And, you know, I see people handle things differently. And in some cases, people just stay quiet because the people, I guess, media or family. I feel her where she's coming from. This whole, I'm just supposed to stay quiet. My mother's missing and missing and missing. What are we gonna do? The thing where it's like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years later, kind of shit, and not say nothing. I can also understand from the perspective of law enforcement, as far as like she mentioned that she was on a podcast and she accidentally mentioned that her mother's gun was gone as well. Start right there. If that was, I believe that's what she said. Yeah. What I couldn't find was my mom's cell phone, her medications, her pistol, and her car keys. The other really weird, bizarre thing is when Kelsey first went there on May 10th to deliver the card and the flowers. Her car wasn't in the driveway. Her mother's car wasn't in the driveway. The door was locked. And then she went back on, what was it, May? I want to make sure I'm correct about the dates. I thought May 15th, she drove back to her mother's house, but this time her mother's locked car was in the driveway. And I was thinking too, did they do forensics? That's a good question too, Rising. Any body cameras? I think we're gonna do a follow up on this. I think we're gonna do a follow up on this. This is just a preliminary. We'll start with the first video. Somebody said a YouTube creator did a video of the area. Maybe we can check that out sometime. I don't sometimes want to play people's videos because I don't know, how people feel, claim or whatever. But maybe next time we'll check it out. I am curious what that area is like. Let me finish off the last minute. Oh, and thank you, Joni, for the stars. Appreciate that. Said praying.
There's a lot of things that are covered up down there. But first and foremost, my mom. And not that other people don't matter, but my mom comes first in my book. So, here we are, 11 months and
That's crazy.
Of mom missing.
I'm just supposed to be quiet the entire time. I can't say shit. Who's gonna do that?
I just want help finding her. That's all I want is her home, and I'll do whatever it takes to bring her home.
Would you be quiet?
I love you guys. My family loves you. Thank you for your support. I really hope I've got everybody behind me on this.
Thank you, Leanne.
Let's work together and bring Echo home.
It's time and words. Okay, we'll talk after the stream. Let's talk a little bit about this. I really wanted to keep this brief so people that watch the rebroadcast, it's Sunday, my audience isn't really on too much on Sunday at this time. But I wanted to keep it brief so people can come back and watch it and not have to go through a bunch of pauses. That's why I try to, keep it very to the point. I mean, you can go support for free. Go check out the Facebook page, Bring Echo Home. Okay, if you just type it in on Facebook, you can do that. And you can share a post, maybe go leave a kind comment. If you don't like me, you don't have to like this video, but you can go directly over there and like and share. The other thing, there is GoFundMe. You can check that out as well. I'll put the link in the description for Facebook and YouTube. It's already down there if you want to. I want
much on.
I'm done.
I want to go back over the case of Echo Lloyd. Echo Michelle Lloyd. She disappeared on Mother's Day in 2020. I did a video on her on July the 21st, I believe it was, of 2020. And I want to draw attention to her. Please share this video. She's still missing. Her family misses her very much. And I appreciate you watching. Thank you. This is the story of Echo Michelle Lloyd. She's missing. The weather was warm in Missouri in May when Kelsey, her daughter, went to visit her mom, Echo Lloyd. At the time, she was back at her residence and she still had not heard from her mom, yet there was no sign of her mom. Months. It was 13 months on the 10th of this month. And there's still no answers. She's on several medications, but she does not have them with her, nor does she have her billfold, her cell. She is absolutely missing without a trace. She has not used her credit cards or money since she vanished. Just with Kelsey, Casey, Caitlin, Kylie on her right wrist. That's her children. Free Highway Patrol is offering a reward of $7,000 for call the Benton County Sheriff's Office at 6135 at 573-6178.
At Dollar General was posting online. They said they were the cashier at Dollar General. They also point out that they work at the Warsaw location, not the Climax Springs location. Is it possible that Echo may have gone to both? Now, there are 2 Dollar Generals in Warsaw. I Googled to the one on Main Street to the one in Climax Springs, and it's about a 28-minute drive. The cashier does describe Echo a bit differently than Kelsey had said she was described when they talked about the Climax Springs location. This person also said the police did not talk to them directly, but to his supervisor, which I think is kind of crappy. Crappy investigating, really. So let me read to you what he posted about his interaction that day with Echo. They said she was trying to buy a cell phone and a phone card, but her check was declined. Here is the quote. They say it was 100% Mother's Day. She was trying to buy a cell phone and a cell phone card to call her kids because it was Mother's Day. We offered the Dollar General phone for her to make a call when she was unable to purchase the cell phone because the check was bad and it was declined. She said something about an ex draining her account or taking her money or something along those lines, and that's why the check was rejecting. I think she ended up using the few dollars she had to buy a soda and a lighter, if I'm correct. That part I'm a little fuzzy on since it's been so long, but all the other details I'm 100% about. Now, they also had said My boss told me she spoke to the police about Echo since she came into Dollar General on Mother's Day. Just wanted to make sure someone knew she came in alone, but mentioned there was a group of people outside waiting for her. My boss didn't have a long interaction with Echo that day like I did, since I was her cashier. And I just wanted to make sure that information was known by someone, which I know there's probably a lot more going on with the police investigation that only you guys. So she's talking, I guess, to Kelsey in this text, which I know there's probably a lot more going on with the police investigating that only you guys and law enforcement know. And then they went on to say, I saw your live, so he was talking to Kelsey. And then they did mention, this cashier says, I would say she was rushed and scatterbrained. I noticed nothing about her demeanor was mentioned in my message. But I recall that day like it was yesterday. Few fuzzy memories and an interaction that really stuck with me. And then they do mention that I guess they didn't consider the possibility that she also went to Climax Springs Dollar General after her stop at the Warsaw Dollar General. But just wanted it out there because I want to make sure all the facts are right. Though not in the store that Gray Hughes called. Now on Gray Hughes Investigates, he called the Climax Springs location and they confirmed that she was there. So Kelsey's now saying she was confused and doesn't know if Gray was correct. Family member on these message boards, Mary Michael Slover, was getting rather irritated with the group about theories. One person mentioned they don't think the neighbor was involved, and the family, including this Mary family member, is very vocal about saying the neighbor was involved. Now, someone asked who the neighbor is. What's this neighbor's name? So allegedly, the name is Josh Smith. And Kelsey said no relation to her. Allegedly, based on another post by someone that says they know Josh Smith personally, they said allegedly Echo was dating Josh. And she goes on to say, I know Josh personally and have seen him a time or two since Echo disappeared. From what Josh says, that Echo was a little on the crazy side, especially when she would be drinking and off her meds. He said there was one time she went out walking in the woods and he had to use GPS to find her, which I thought, this is the end of the quote, which I thought was a little weird. That's what the person's saying. Now, I personally, Catherine, find this interesting because in another post, someone mentions that this poster has a family member that had a previous relationship with this Josh Smith dude, and he got crazy when he drinks whiskey, and he became abusive towards the end of that relationship with this other person. So why would Josh have to GPS locate Echo in the woods? You know, Echo snuck out of her house at one point about 2 weeks before she went missing. Remember that in my first video where she went to Kelsey's house and said this neighbor was taking over the house, the car, etc. Allegedly, she snuck out of a window in her own home to get away from him, but then she went back. So thinking about him saying having GPS to find her in the woods gives me the creeps. Did she run away from him before and hide in the woods? Or did this happen the day or night she actually disappeared? And he found her, and who knows what? Now, this all could be true, or it could be him trying to blame the victim, especially if he has anything to do with this. Kelsey does say that she cannot talk about the gun. Someone says original footage says it was in the front yard. Kelsey states she never said that. They do say the FBI is involved with the case. Echo Lloyd is missing from out there, but in every group, there will be things said that will bother family. Also, as far as channels go and podcasts go, there are many that aren't reporting for the right reasons. I have 2 words: virtual signaling. If you're going to talk about it, do something about it. Help. Ask those that show up what they will actually do, how they will actually help. It's important. I have asked my subscribers and viewers to reach out to big channels. I filled out a request form for Kendall Ray. She has over 2.5 million subscribers. Hopefully, she'll pick Echo's story up. And I've also reached out to Dateline. Me, personally reached out to them for them to help take this case. I'm not a PI. I don't claim to be. My mission here is to help get mainstream media involved and also hope that someone that knows something will come forward by us all not keeping the story quiet and allowing it to go cold. I've invited Kelsey on a live stream and she said she would come, but I think every crime channel has been reached out to and I think she has several offers. Either way, my heart breaks for her. And I have adult children, and so do most of my viewers. We are a channel of moms, young grandmas, and people that genuinely care. So to all of you, let's do what we can to keep Echo's story alive and pray she comes home. Thank you for watching Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Catherine. Stay safe, stay well, and stay home again for now. Take care.
All right. We'll do a little map searching of my own. Do that and log off and do a little Google image searching of my own and see what I can see. Probably go to bed and pick this up tomorrow.